Lunar orbit. Hello there, screen watchers. It's Thursday, February 4th. That means it's time for a weekly update with me, Jeff. It's good to see you. And today I am dressed on purpose to tell you some stories. The first is I'm wearing my Montreal Expos hat, stylish, red, white, and blue, as you can see. The reason I am wearing this hat today is because this is the team I've decided to cheer for in the 2021 baseball season. You might say, but Jeff, they don't exist anymore. And I'll say, yes, exactly. That's why I'm going to cheer for them, because the two teams that I do cheer for don't want to play, and they don't want to compete. My Chicago Cubs did a huge salary dump and sent their best player to San Diego right after he finished second in the Cy Young voting last year. Yeah, we don't need him. And then the other team I cheer for, the local Colorado Baseball Club, decided to send the best player of his generation to my arch rival, St. Louis Cardinals, and $50 million for some magic beans. So why should I care? Because they don't care. So I'm going to cheer for the Montreal Expos. Viva los Expos! I don't know. Is that French or Spanish? Anyway, the other thing I'm wearing is this. Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, Michael Collins. You might have heard of them. They flew Apollo 11, the first manned spacecraft to land on the moon. And I wanted to tell you a little story about them because it illustrates what I think we should be doing as a church here in 21. If you remember back in January, the message for the vision of our church was about unity in 21. And what I love about these three men and the story of Apollo 11 is the unity that they had, and all of NASA, not just these three, but definitely these three, because they weren't a lot alike. But boy, they worked together to do something fantastic and phenomenal, and obviously changed all of history. They were the ones who got to do the thing and walk on the moon. Now, the trick is, Neil Armstrong, the first man to walk on the moon, he never wanted the glory, which made him the perfect guy to do it. He was an Eagle Scout. He liked the quiet life. He's from Ohio, and he didn't really do a lot of public events. In fact, after he landed on the moon and the fervor kind of died down, the only autographs he would sign were for other Eagle Scouts. He didn't want the fame. He didn't want the celebrity. And so he never capitalized on being the first man on the moon, which, how cool is that? And he was a genius pilot who survived some pretty crazy near-death experiences because he was so good as a pilot. Buzz Aldrin, who people know mostly really wished he could have been the first man on the moon, but he had to deal with being in second place, and that always kind of needled him a little bit, but there's no way they make it to the surface of the moon without him. His nickname was Dr. Rendezvous. Nobody knew more about orbital mechanics and connecting the LEM module to the command module in the orbit of the moon better than he did. He needed to be on that mission because he was a genius about that stuff. And then Michael Collins, he's the one I really wanted to talk about. Michael Collins, can you imagine? You're a part of the crew that goes to the moon to step on the moon for the first time, but you don't get to step on the moon. He got to fly the command module in lunar orbit while Buzz and Neil were on the surface of the moon. And so you'd think that would eat at him his whole life. I got to be there, but I didn't get to do it. My footprint isn't on the moon. Well, he never complained about that. You watch any interview, people asked him that his whole life, and he's like, no, I had maybe the most important job of all. Because if I don't do my job, those two guys die on the moon. And for the rest of your life, when you look at the moon, all you can think about are those two poor astronauts who are dead up there. He knew his job was so important and so valuable, he didn't care that he wasn't doing their job. And as he was on the far side of the moon, he said it was one of the most peaceful times of his life. He's the first person ever to be back there alone, and to him it was this euphoric thing. And so they were all part of the team, not to mention the thousands of people at NASA, mathematicians and strategists and computer technicians and leaders who made this thing go. I think the church is a lot like that. Everyone has a job to do. Some are more upfront than others, but we're doing something even more powerful and significant than even going to the moon. We're about the kingdom of God, and everyone has a part to play, and we have to use our skills in the right way. And the goal isn't that we all are best friends necessarily, although friendship is great, but the goal is to get involved and work at what we are called to be and to do to make something phenomenal happen, which is to bring the kingdom of God to bear on this world, to make disciples, to be a disciple, to multiply that out, to serve one another, to serve our community. And every one of us has a job. So one of the things we need to do here in 21 is figure out what that is for people, to equip the saints to do the work of ministry. Because where there's that unity, not even the sky's the limit. A couple things going on here in the life of our church. This weekend I want to tell you about. Number one, we have a food drive going on Saturday from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. There will be a list of specific needs going out in an email tomorrow, but if you have supplies, food, etc., you want to bring it by the church for that, that will be from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock on Saturday. Just bring them by the building. Speaking of the building, last Sunday night at our business meeting, we voted as a membership unanimously to pay off the remaining mortgage debt that we have on this building, which means we are debt-free as a church as soon as that check clears. Now, come on, that's awesome, and you should celebrate wherever you are right now. Celebrate. Just go ahead. Clap, shout, do something. Pop open a can of soda and enjoy and celebrate, because it's a reason to be excited here at Grace Church. Another reason to be excited here at Grace Church is that we're getting close to our youth pastor search coming to a close. Keep praying for that. We have a couple more steps to do before we would introduce him as a candidate, but that's a pretty cool thing going on here as well. Speaking of staffing, Pastor James, our children's pastor, is going on sabbatical in 1.5 weeks, and he'll be gone for 3 months. Now, we have great part-time help to make sure that children's ministry keeps rolling along in Mary Hicks and Catherine Kreitzer, but we need your help. Now that we're open on Sundays and Wednesdays and doing children's ministry during those times, if you are participating in that, and meaning your kids are taking advantage of that, we might need you to volunteer. And by might, I mean definitely need you to volunteer. If you are somebody who has worked with children's ministry before, or you're interested at all, let us know, because James and his family do so much here on a regular basis. And so without them here for the next 3 months, we absolutely are going to need more help, more chance to be part of a team of unity, doing something awesome. So please let us know, office@gracelongmont.org, if you're interested in doing that. This Sunday, we'll be continuing on in the book of Luke, finishing up Luke 13, where Jesus has his lament over Jerusalem. I just finished putting those notes together, and I sent them off right before I started this video, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be a good one. Lord willing, we'll see what he does with my feeble attempts to do what I do here in this unity team of preaching the word, and I am so pleased that I get to do that. So thank you to everyone who makes Grace Church work. Thank you to all who came out last night for our prayer and music night. We'll be doing those the first Wednesday of every month. And until next time, I'm Jeff, you're you, God is God, and these three guys are awesome.